My mountain life, been away for a while. Haven't actually been away, I just haven't been on YouTube putting out information, but I just wanted to talk about a couple things on the orchard that happened this year that are kind of interesting to me. And I want to do this video before the mosquito season starts, which is probably in just a couple days. I don't know, like 5 days. We have a river down here. I have some area that kind of gets flooded, and as soon as it gets flooded, the mosquitoes come shortly after that, and they last for 3 weeks to 4 weeks, and it's pretty unbearable. And I'm not one to really do a bunch of spray on me and still do it, so I just kind of like avoid going out very much until after the mosquitoes are done, and or I'll walk real fast. Like I'll come through the orchard here and look at everything and just walk really quickly. But anyway, I just want to do a couple videos before that happens. So this video, I'm going to talk about some of the interesting things that I found, or that has happened, I guess. And then I'm going to, the next video, which I'll do right after this one, I'm going to actually go and show all the different varieties of European plums that I have in the orchard so far. I intend to add more. Okay, so some things that have happened. First, I don't think that I really had any frost issues this year that I know of, but there's a couple things that happened. My cherry trees that have been here for a while, and some other trees like my apricot, I only have one of my Asian plum trees, another one died. So one of my Asian plum trees is probably going to die. Another one died, so I have two potential losses there. An apple tree and my apricot tree, and all the cherry trees don't look good this year. And I was thinking, okay, you know, I've got enough trees in, and I'm starting to find out that maybe I should be growing cherry trees here, right? So that's what I was thinking for a while. And then I talked to somebody that was telling me that the cherry orchards close by, you know, they're within 30 miles, I guess, so within 20 to 30 miles, they're having problems too. Like people have lost a lot of cherry trees this year, and none of them are blooming. And I'm not talking about all the cherry trees. Specifically, I'm talking about the sweet cherries, the commercial varieties like Bings and Rainiers and Lapins, those kinds of cherries. Other cherry trees like, I don't know, I have an Evans, it's fine. Like, I think the really hardy ones are fine. So apparently what happened was something happened in January or February, and again, I live in the northern region of the country, and so something happened that hit the trees really hard. But it's strange because, you know, like it got really cold or something. But it's strange because I remember the previous year even being colder and everything was fine. And so it's like last year wasn't quite as cold as the year before, but maybe there was a couple days in there, or maybe the trees were getting ready or doing something in their biology, and then it just hit them at the wrong time. I don't know. But it didn't just affect the cherry trees. The apricot tree looked like it was dead. It's coming back now. I'll show it to you in the future. And then there's an Asian plum and another one that died, but I don't know if that is related to that or not. The European plums looked like they got hit a little bit, but they came back fine. So I haven't had any losses on European plums. Only Asian plums. Okay, so with that said, we're not going to have cherries this year, except for some of the varieties that people don't really search for, like Evans or Stellas, perhaps, or something like that. And I'm not saying that Stellas aren't good. I'm just saying that people more or less like the Bings and the Rainiers. Those are the ones I see at the cherry orchards anyway, or the cherry stands. And those are probably going to be, there's going to be a lot less production, I think, this year in the area that I live with those cherries. But it didn't just hit them. And I have an apple tree that got hit, it appears, as well. That's coming back, but anyway. And it's not like everything got hit. So, like I said, my other apple trees, they didn't seem to be fazed by whatever happened. Second thing that occurred that's kind of interesting. So my Toka plum trees, they're Asian plums. It's an Asian American hybrid, very hardy, and they bloom for a long time. They got hit with this bloom blight. I think it's part of the brown rot group of fungus or whatever, and they got hit hard. And what it does is it hits the blossoms, and then it creeps in and it kills the branches and kills the leaves. But it doesn't kill the tree normally, and so the tree kind of like grows out of it. But it reduces your harvest significantly, right? But I didn't get it in any other varieties really to speak of. I think I saw one branch on a black ice on one of my trees. But it didn't hit the aldermans, it didn't hit the black ice to speak of, except for that one little incident. It didn't hit the lacrescent. So I don't know why this happens, why it only is going after the Tokas, but here's my theory on it. Tokas bloom for a really long time, and I think that makes them a lot more vulnerable to things like brown rot or blossom bloom blight is what I was told it was, and it looks just like it. And so you go in there and you cut the branches out that had this happen. But it doesn't affect everything. Like, I'm still going to get some plums, but not as many as I would normally get. So those are the things that I can tell you so far. The orchards are looking pretty good. We've gotten a lot of rain. We didn't get a lot of snow, but we got a lot of rain in the end of month of April and in parts of May, and it looks like it's going to rain again. I don't think this next weekend, but maybe sometime next week or something, pretty hard. So we're getting the moisture. I haven't had to really water anything so far, but that usually changes around the mid part of July. I have to take care of the younger trees especially. So anyway, that's an update, a general update. So the next video I'm going to talk about I went and talked about the Japanese plum varieties that I had planted. So now I'm going to go and talk about the European plums that I planted. So why am I so like enthralled or excited about plum trees? You find things in your area that seem to grow the best with the least amount of problems. That's the way I look at it. And European pear trees, it seems like the apples are doing decent. And European plum trees. I thought Asian plums would be really good too, but I'm finding that I'm having difficulty with them, and I definitely can't raise Asian pears, unfortunately. I've tried like 5 different pear trees, and I have one left that's barely like surviving. I'm pretty much done with Asian pears. I think I've got one coming next year that's like a European-Asian mix called it's from the University of Minnesota. What is it called? And anyway, it doesn't have like a regular name. It's like a wild name, and I have one coming next year, so I'll give that a try. And it's supposed to be able to bloom with the pears, and so maybe that one will be where I go. But the Tarawa looks like it barely survived. So maybe it's just because of this last year. So maybe next year I might add another Tarawa, Tarawa or whatever, if this one seems to come back and do okay. But if this one dies, I don't know. Asian pears just seem to be not for my area, or not for me. And then apricots. Apricots are... I have such a problem with apricots, and yet my wife tells me that her aunt, where they used to live, grew apricots like weeds. They grew all over, and they they had no problems growing them. So I can't seem to grow apricots in my region. And peaches, I've heard people have problems with peaches here too. So we're down to European pears, cherries maybe, but a couple of problems with cherries is it may be just a little cold for them because of this last year kind of illustrated that. And maybe the ground that I have, this heavy clay, isn't good for them either. And so European pears, apples, plums. It's kind of where I'm at right now to try to get the most successful orchard going as I can. So anyway, thank you for joining me. I'll come back with another update. I won't stand out here with mosquitoes when they start coming out this year, but I'll be back hopefully in a month or so after and I'll go over some of the other varieties that I have and talk about them. My pears are over here. You can't see them, but they're over in this corner. European pears, I just got done planting the last of them, hopefully for this year, and then my European plums are on this side. So we'll go over those. I have more coming next year of those. So we're hoping that we're going to have some successful trees that I don't have to manage. That's the goal. So anyway, thank you for joining me. In the next video, we'll go over the varieties of European plums.